This is Bear With Us podcast.
Well, can we add Gurrrl? I mean, we aren't all manly like you.
Okay. How's this? This is Bear With Us, girl.
No. More like Gurrrl, like a glitter bear.
This is Bear With Us, girl.
Perfect. This is Bear With Us, Girl, where we stir the honeypot with hot topics, body issues, the adult industry.
Fashion, news, pop culture, pup culture, and more.
From the bear perspective.
For and by the community.
I can barely stand it. Get it?
You're unbearable.
Wah wah. Never gets old. Never ever gets old.
Never gets old for you.
You know, Teddy.
It's been old for me since day one.
How dare you, sir? It brings me joy. And it's funny because I always watch our guest face as it plays to see, like, do they think it's funny? Do they think it's funny? And then they're like, is this funny? I don't know. Teddy, you know, I was doing nothing, not working hard. But then Kim Kardashian told me that I should just wake up and work hard, bitch.
And so you listen to her, and now you have a Golden Globe?
It's so weird. Now I have a nanny. I have security.
3 butlers.
I have a secretary.
You have a nanny, 3 butlers, a manager, and a chef, an agent and a driver, and something in a jet.
But, and Disney Plus. Disney Plus, of all places, is having the new Kardashian show. What the hell?
And I love about the new show, there's literally nothing new.
What is it? Not that I watched the original show, and I'm not trying to say I never watched the show to be cool or like down with the Kardashians, but I just never watched it.
Well, no, I mean, again, like, I love trash TV. Like, I love the Real Housewives.
Housewives of anything.
Great franchise. And I even tried to watch the Kardashians because I'm like, everybody's watching it. There must be something fun. It was just like The Hills, where literally nothing happens. It's just girls staring at each other, talking slow about nothing.
Well, now Disney Plus can have it. Well, talking slow about nothing, so it'll be like the book of Boba Fett. Hello, Disney Plus.
You got a lot of issues with them. So I obviously heard her comment, and the best thing I've been seeing people, like, because everybody had their hot take and then this and that, the best take people have pointed out is the problem is not Kim Kardashian saying it. The problem is that you keep talking about it, you keep resharing it because it gets the hits, it gets a like. If you genuinely want those people to go away, like you just don't like them in pop culture zeitgeist, stop feeding into it, because she knew what she was saying. I don't think she's a dumb person.
No, see, I totally disagree with you. I was just going to say, I think the most annoying thing is that she totally believes that she's inspiring women. I think she believes that she's a hard worker, and in her lifestyle, she probably is. Her schedule is probably full day long.
No,
that I get.
If you look from this perspective, in her head, she thinks she's just speaking to other Kim Kardashians. She thinks she's speaking to other rich girls who are privileged, and she sees them not working. So from that perspective, in her small bubble, she's not wrong of saying, like, I have lots of friends who just don't work. She's right. But it was one of those things of the context does not work on a global scale, and I think she also knew that and knew that it would be one of those things of gets clicks, gets likes. Because guess what? Nobody was talking about the fact that they had a new show on Disney+.
Nobody was. I didn't even know.
Nobody knew, and now everybody knows, and all that happens is a week will go by, she'll do something new and crazy, which apparently, like, she already did, and people have already moved on.
Yeah.
She's not stupid. She has a great manager who probably literally said, this is what you're going to say, this is how it's going to react.
Well, it's her mom behind her. She's like, Kim.
No, that's somebody who works hard. Kris Jenner works hard.
She's been hustling since day one. She was like peddling shit in kindergarten. Like, you know, she was that kid. Like, she had some Girl Scout cookie scheme. That's what Kris was doing. But you know, you bring up a really good point, because we're kind of in the same influencer circle, but we're not, in terms of, you know, you're with like the pretty boys and the muscle bears and all that. But we have people in our circle that all they do is take off their shirt every day for Instagram, and they're an influencer getting sponsorships and all that. That's a lot more work than what I have to do on a daily basis to keep up within a certain circle. So I do get that. It's like, to those shirtless selfie guys, that's literally all they do.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, just because that's all they do, if it is still work, it's still work. The people aren't judging her for saying that she works hard because they think she works hard. They're saying, Kim, you don't acknowledge the fact that, like, it was easier to start working when you were born into a family that was millionaires. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what they're mad about.
I mean, did she really work hard for her sex tape? I mean, she wasn't really putting in that much effort.
I mean, I'm saying, like, she works hard now, and it was one of those things you could easily have inspired people with better words.
What it's like when her sister did that Pepsi commercial. Have you seen the memes where it shows the Ukrainian war and it's like just send her in with the Pepsi can? It's like, wow, ouch, that one hurt. Anyway, on that note, the show is brought to you by Cybersocket.com, the ultimate resource for gay erotica. Visit Cybersocket for adult star exclusive interviews, free clips, fun contributions from their team of writers, event listings, and Ask Chad, porn's answer to Dear Abby. Head to Cybersocket.com.
We're also excited to be a media partner with Bear World Magazine. Bear World Magazine is now 9 years old and the only lifestyle magazine celebrating the global bear community in all its glorious, diverse beauty.
Rawr.
Head to bearworldmag.com to check out the great berry content and also sign up for the new Wolf Report, their new weekly newsletter packed of berry news and gossip.
Lots of gossip. We're very excited to introduce our guest for today. Drag queen and hair flipping extraordinary Juice Boxx is a small, sparkly, and adorable, but with a seductive twist queen. Her smart-ass hosting style perfectly balances her fun and flirty performances, which serve a blend of top 40s pop princess and enticing burlesque vixen. She began her career in the fast-paced drag scene of Toronto, where she excelled for 6 years before being cast on the first season of Canada's Drag Race. And along with the stage, she spends most of her time streaming on Twitch, which is becoming very popular with the queens, by the way. She has collaborated with companies like Dead by Daylight and It Gets Better for a variety of different online events. And although her status as Canada's pork chop, or the first eliminated on the show, cut her time short, her cute and quirky personality won viewers over as she tripped, snagged, and fell her way to becoming a fan favorite. Please welcome Juice Boxx.
Hi, bestie.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I love that you're literally like talking to us like from a hotel room, like you're on the move, you're doing your thing.
Are you
like,
on you on tour right now?
No.
You're just in a
you're just in a
hotel.
hotel. Oh,
No, I usually do things from my studio at home, but this is literally like I'm on vacation with my husband this week.
oh, it's like a staycation.
Yeah, we're doing no. I'm in Nanaimo, Victoria. So we're not staying. We just decided to like go out for the week, and then I hit the ground running next week. I'm going to LA. I'm going to be in Providence, and I'm going to be in a bunch of different Canadian cities. So I'm really excited.
What are you doing in LA?
I honest to God, I don't really know. I
Yeah,
messaged.
you don't know what you're booked for?
I messaged Morgan McMichaels, and I was just like, "Hey, girl, I really want to work in LA," and she was just like, "Cool, I've got a schedule for you." I was like, "Great."
Girl, you better double check that schedule. Was she drinking when she said that?
Yeah.
I've seen her performances by the end. It's like, girl, she promised you she's going to run for president.
But I'm guessing you're going to be at Mickey's then.
Yes.
I will shit my pants. I think I'm at Mickey's,
Yeah.
and I think I will probably poop myself because that's so cool. But
Oh, really? See, this is so funny because we're so used to these bars. Like when somebody says they're cool, we're like, oh, I forgot they are cool. We're just
No, like West Hollywood is a cool thing. Like, there's a friend of mine coming down from San Francisco that wants to hit WeHo, and I'm like, well, I guess we can go to the Abbey and do that. And they're like, wow.
You're like, you want to do that?
Yeah.
But don't, if for whatever reason, if they suggest let's get dinner at Sir, don't let them suffer. Don't ruin that dream, the reality of realizing that it is a terrible restaurant.
I have a Sir story for you, but I'm not going to bore us with
called
saying
Sir?
that.
That's the restaurant owned by Lisa Vanderpump.
It's on Vanderpump Rules. Yeah.
Oh,
And it's not
doesn't sound
it's
good.
SUR. It's not Sir like SIR.
Yeah.
That would
I
be
thought it was like SIR. I thought it was
No.
like a leather bar. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
where's
ah.
that sounds hot.
yeah.
That's in the
my
alleyway
favorite
behind
problem.
Sor. So Juice Boxx, I wanted to know, so you've been in the business for 6 years. Can you remember the very first time that you did drag, like on purpose, like on stage? Do you remember what the event was and what happened?
I've actually been doing drag for 8 years.
Wow.
I have to update that. But it's been 8, but with COVID, it feels like a day has gone by or 10,000 years. But my first performance ever on purpose was I did oh my God, actually, there's two. There's one where I was helping Scarlett Bobo from my season. We were really good friends, still are, but we were like really, really close. And I was helping her in one of her performances where she was doing the Wicked Witch of the West for Woody's Queen of Halloween show. And I was basically her Dorothy. So I got up in drag and I was Dorothy in her show. So that was like the first time I like in purpose got into drag and did like a performance. But my solo one I did with Mojo, which are Monty and Joey in Toronto. They had a party called FML Mondays, and I did a performance to Robin's Do It Again and Fuck Love Give Me Diamonds by Iggy Azalea.
Yes.
And did you nail it, or were you like, oh crap, I'm doing drag now?
Oh, I nailed it.
Yes, girl. Well, you made it past that first show. What?
Are those your gamer headphones or no? There's just
No, these are like my old gamer headphones that I let my husband use in the plane, and I realized that they sound the best, so I decided to bring these ones. But my
I
gamer
love
headphones
gamer
are-
girl headphones.
Yeah,
They're
me
always
too.
so
Oh,
cute.
I have the big ones with the little kitty ears.
Oh,
Oh, so cute.
it always makes me
my
think of
God.
like Jet Set Radio. Do you remember that game?
No.
Oh, that was on Dreamcast, and they all had like the gamer headphones that like all the girls now, all the e-girls are wearing.
I played Nintendo Duck Hunt. I just aged myself. How did you meet your husband?
High school.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we've been together for 18 years.
Wow.
My God, that's like impossible. That's like a story in itself.
I almost just asked
Yeah.
why, but that sounds really bad.
Why? Yeah, no, we met in high school. We met in grade 9. We started dating around like grade 10. I don't know if the grades happen the same in the States, but
Yes.
high school is 9, 10, 11, 12 for us.
Yeah.
But we started dating in grade 10, and we've been together ever since. We've been married for 4 years? So we've been married for 4 years, but we've been together for 18.
God, congratulations. So did you guys come out together or you were already out? You young kids come out younger
no,
and younger.
I was out in grade 9. I was just like, I'm a faggot. And then he was out, I think, like very shortly after me, but we were like some of the only gay people at our school. So I think that's just kind of how we found each other. But
Was everybody
like,
shocked
I
when you
come
came
from,
out?
like- sorry?
Were they shocked when you came out?
Oh God, no.
But
My
was
mom
it,
was like, okay.
did you have any pushback of coming out so early and then having a boyfriend in high school? I mean, we didn't have any of that in my high school, I'll tell you that.
I mean, looking back on it, like a little bit, we went to a Catholic high school, but
So
they were
did
just
I.
like rich Italians. So they just like threaten to beat you up, but they never do it because they don't want to ruin their manicures.
Ah, Catholicism.
So, Jesus. But so we had a lot of like threats of violence, but nothing ever really bad. I think I was only ever punched like once. But it gave me character. But it was nice to have, a husband, or not a husband, but like a boyfriend who was
Yeah.
kind of going through the same thing. So we could kind of lean on each other. And we had a really great friend group, especially being like in a Catholic school where they're just like, you suck and you're going to hell the whole
Yeah.
time.
Mhm. No, I totally understand. I went to Catholic school all my life. And talking about sexuality, I mean, number one, they didn't teach sexuality, but what they did show you was blocks and how they fit together, and the two male blocks didn't connect. That was the extent of their sex education.
Because it didn't connect because you didn't have lube.
Yeah.
But if you have lube, you would make that square fit in that circle.
Meanwhile, Father Moran in the
You just
in the
spit
corner is
on
like,
it.
mhm.
See, I went to a public school, but my town was so religious that in the public school, they would say prayer daily over the
Oh
intercom.
my God, that's insane.
Which is, looking back, I was like, oh, wait,
shocking.
that's not allowed.
But it happens in
One-
more towns than you would believe. Some city council meetings start with prayer. I mean, it's just, and I have become atheist in the last couple of years. I'm not an angry atheist, like tear down every visage of God or like whatever you want to believe
I'm
in.
the angry atheist.
But I mean, it's like, believe what you want to believe. Just don't let it encroach on me and don't bring it to where I'm at, just the way that I wouldn't bring my, stuff to you. But praying during city council meetings, that's wrong.
Not into the
We have
council. That was just in
our
the school.
nieces. They went to the same school as us, and one of our nieces, she had to, and it's a Catholic school, and she had to get up to do the prayer, and she sat down. And they were like, you have to get up and do the prayer. And she went, I'm here for education, not for religion.
Get it,
And
girl.
I was
Girl.
like, diva bitch. Yes.
So that sass is like in your family, right?
She literally was like, teach me, don't preach me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, no, bitch, I'm not getting up. I was like, I have never been prouder, diva.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Now, what was your first kind of exposure to the drag world? Were you watching Drag Race growing up? Were you going to local bars, and that was your exposure to drag?
No. I was I'm from a small town called Essex. It's just outside of Windsor in Ontario. And so we didn't have any kind of drag. Like I remember the first drag queen I ever saw was, there was a few of them. It was Divine Darling from Toronto, Misconception, Toronto, and Sabin from Detroit. And they were at Windsor Pride. So it was the first time I really ever saw drag, and I was exposed to it. And I didn't really understand it at the time.
Mhm.
And then once RuPaul's Drag Race started playing like on the TVs and stuff, those newfangled TVs, I like how I said that.
I know you did.
Those weird newfangled televisions. But yeah, once it started like airing and stuff, I didn't watch season 1. I started watching in season 2 or 3. When did Sharon win?
God, that's been a while.
That was like season 4.
I mean, I didn't start watching Drag Race until the last 3 years. I mean, that's what a sad gay I am. Yeah, I was
no,
just not.
you've been blessed. But I started watching Sharon's season because it was really big on Tumblr. Because Tumblr porn and Tumblr was
Yeah. Oh, remember when they took that away from us?
Drag Race
it was
porn.
the worst day of my life.
It was. It was like I had no reason to get up. I think Sharon was what, season 6 maybe or 7?
I think so, yeah.
It was
No,
like halfway.
babe, not 7.
No.
She was early. She was still early. I think it was still 3 or 4. But I started watching with her, and then I started getting exposed to drag more. And then when I moved to Toronto, I started to go out a lot more. So I started to see drag every single night. Became a little socialite. Developed a little bit of an alcohol problem. And then just kind of fell into it from there. I was a makeup artist. I was working in the industry, and then I kind of was just like, I could do that. I'm a pretty girl, kind of.
Well, and part of the story that you were able to share on Drag Race is your sobriety. When you filmed it, you were celebrating 2 years of being sober. And this whole idea of sobriety is really being talked about, I think, especially during COVID. I know a lot of people became alcoholic, or they came to realization of their alcoholism during COVID because there was nothing to do but sit home and drink. People got depressed. They reached for those vices. But I think we've emerged, just like we've been talking about mental health in our community. I think that is part of it, is now we are able to talk about sobriety, not with some stigma, because we know LGBTQ is the party life, and it's, party, party, party. And I think there was the assumption that if you're sober, you can't partake or you can't be part of that life, that you're some like weird bad unicorn in the corner of the room, that that you shouldn't discuss it. Have you had any pushback from being sober?
At the beginning there was a lot of people who wouldn't book me anymore because I wasn't fun. They were like, Juice isn't fun in the dressing rooms anymore. I don't want to hang out with her, and we're not going to book her. Or people would stop coming to my shows because I wasn't the clown that they could come and get drunk and laugh at, and who would say stupid shit because I said stupid fucking shit. So those kind of things sort of slowed down. And I had a lot of friends who would be like, oh, you're one of those girls who's getting sober now. Like, that's so fucking stupid. Like, it was just like, they were losing a drinking buddy. They were mourning the loss of their drinking buddy. And like, fair, I guess, whatever, but also go fuck yourself. So there was a bit of pushback, but I think once I started to fall into myself and a little bit more of who I was and who I was without alcohol, and then also to sort of see sort of my professionalism and my career grow a little bit easier, I started to get double and triple the work. Like, everything started to roll out a little bit faster. I wouldn't have been able to even get on Drag Race if I wasn't sober. Like, if I was still drunk, I would still be doing like $50 shows, like spinning around, begging people for money and shots of tequila.
No, but that's a very good point, because that does happen, and we see that in West Hollywood. We see certain queens that can only reach a certain level because of the party life. They're not waking up till 2 or 3 the next morning. They're the next day, and they're hungover. They're not able to hustle. They're not able to pick up the phone. They're not able to keep up their marketing. They're not able to build their empire.
Well, like there's a few that, like, I'm not going to name them, but like who I literally have watched.
Name them.
No, who I've watched, and I'm like,
I'll name them.
You're so talented, but you're held back by the fact that like you are blackout drunk by the end of your shift, and that you're asleep for the whole next day. So you're never going to put in that extra work to even just do something as small as like make an audition tape or anything. The things that like you need to do to grow, because you don't have the energy, and it's sad to watch sometimes.
We have our own voices. I go out. Sometimes I go out and I drink too much, and that's it. But I know the suffer. And Juice Boxx, to your point, when you're able to really focus, and this happens in the adult film world, I know some of the very successful stars are sober, and that's because you're able to book them for their gig. They show up to their gig, they do it well, and then they leave, and then that's all the drama you have to worry about.
Imagine bottoming hungover. Oh god.
Just shaking your head, your whole body just.
It's like, I don't even know what's down there. Now, Juice Boxx, is your husband sober?
No, my husband's not sober, but he has he doesn't have a relationship with alcohol like I do. He can drink in moderation. So sometimes he just has, like, if he wants to have a bottle of wine, have a dance party in the kitchen, bestie, go off, have a little dance party in the kitchen, have a great time. It's not like he wasn't like me, where when he drinks, he became like a absolute garbage person.
Now, I have to know your view of American drag from watching Drag Race. And it's funny because I guess in my mind, I don't even know what I would consider Canadian drag. What do you think the biggest differences are from Canadian drag that you've worked in and been part of, and then kind of watching American drag on the show? What are the biggest differences?
I mean, it depends also where you are in Canada, but I have a feeling across the board we sort of overcompensate a bit because we feel like we have something to prove. Because you guys, because it's so easy, and I hate to say this, it's so easy for Americans when it comes to drag. Well, there's more opportunities, there's more bars, there's more places, it's cheaper to travel.
Well, also too, you guys, I at least know from a go-go standpoint, because I've done go-go gigs in Canada, and nobody tips, by the way.
Oh no, we don't tip go-go's because we don't have a go-go culture.
Why is that?
And go-go's can actually strip like full.
Yeah, you can go full hog with us, but we have no go-go's. Hog is a penis, in case anyone.
Yes, no.
We figured that one out.
I learned that a year ago.
But basically, we don't have a culture for go-go boys. We do a little bit, but even then, like our go-go boys are like, this doesn't feel like the same thing, and no one tips them because they just don't know to.
That's so weird to me.
And then like with our drag queens, like our drag queens get tipped down. Like I get tipped because the smallest tip you can get is a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like we get tipped absolutely down. So if you were a go-go boy out here, you would be rich, but there's just no no need for it. There's no culture. Like nobody does it, which is so strange because and
that's funny because we have to beg American audiences to tip, and then it's like a crumpled up dollar, and somebody's giving their life wearing a gown, doing a full on costume change, and here's a crumpled up sweaty dollar.
Oh, see, every time I see American queens, it feels like they're barely dancing and all they're doing is collecting like $1 bills. Just because it takes so long for them to get all of them. Maybe I'm just seeing the curated videos.
I think you're seeing that. And plus, the RuPaul queens will get the dollar bills thrown at them, but they're still dollar bills. Nobody's throwing 20s. Nobody's throwing anything else like that. We're cheap. And from a go-go point of view, I mean, guys expect to be able to touch you everywhere and give you $1. I mean, that's just...
That's gross.
But it's a lot easier for me now because now I can just direct their hand upwards. I'm like, you can touch the fur. That's $1. You can get you can pet the dog.
Pet the dog for $1. Woof, daddy.
Now, Juice Boxx, what was your audition process like for Drag Race? And I mean, how excited were you when you heard that, oh, hey, we're going to do a Canadian version?
I mean, when I heard that there was going to be a Canadian version, I like absolutely sharded myself. Like I was just like, this can't be real. And I honestly didn't think I was going to get on. I was just like, oh, because it was never like when it was Canadian drag and like Toronto drag and stuff, I was always sort of like an afterthought. It was always just like, oh, Scarlett's friend Juice, or oh, Juice also works there sometimes. Like I never had a permanent show. I never really had anything like that. I had one and it was at some shitty bar. So like it wasn't anything huge. I always did feel a bit like an afterthought in the city. So when I got on, and the audition process was just like the normal audition process, nothing special. But when I got on, I was like, oh my God, it's real. You know?
It's really
I
happening.
actually thought I was being punked. Like I thought it was like a prank show. It's like, there's no way.
Would you ever do a reality show again?
Yeah, I would do a reality show again. I think when I do a reality show again, I would want to be on the other side.
As a judge?
I would want to be somewhere where the stakes aren't as high. Like maybe like if it's like All Stars or anything like that, like sure, I'll do it again. Give me the trauma. I've got a therapist. But I think if it was any kind of other reality TV show, I would want to be like a mentor, a judge, something like that, something on the other side, you know, instead of the competing aspect, because like it just really fucks with you, man. Like it really fucks with you.
No, I know 100%. Like because I just did a reality show where I got to be a judge, the Go-Go for the Gold. It's a go-go reality show, basically like Drag Race. And I told all the contestants constantly, I literally told them, I was like, I could not do what you're doing because from a mental health standpoint, to be critiqued every day and to have to perform, like, I don't want that. And I understand what you're saying. Like, you're like, there's a lot of mental trauma that goes into doing a reality show, that, especially as a contestant, that people just say like, oh, well, it's a privilege to be on there. Yes, it's still maybe an honor, but it still is traumatic no matter what. Even if you're the winner of the show, you still look back on it and you're like, that was traumatic.
I always say that because everybody says the season 1 girls have more of a bond than the season 2 girls in Canada. Because the season 2 girls it feels like they all fucking hate each other. The season 1 girls, we love each other and we're all so close. And I say it's because we're just trauma bonded.
Oh my
Like they
God.
had to go through all of the mistakes and all of the things to figure out season 1, and it fucked with all of us. So we're all just bonded by this trauma.
Well, you guys were a social experiment, basically,
Yep.
like a science experiment.
Yeah, I mean a successful one. Like we got better ratings in season 2.
Oh,
Well, it's very funny, and I'm sure you can't comment on it, but we know Drag Race is just like any other reality show. They're going to edit stuff. They're going to push situations to create conflict and cause drama. That's what reality TV does. And so now, how long were you actually gone from the public to film it? Did you have to stay there after you were eliminated?
I mean, bestie, it was one episode. It wasn't that long.
No, I know, but sometimes they'll keep people that get kicked off the show. They still have to keep them.
Oh, I just had to stay for a little bit just to do some promo, but I wasn't gone long.
oh, that's good because some shows like quarantine you for like 13 weeks still.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You were not going to do that. You were like, I'm going to leave then.
I don't think they would have let me do that with how I reacted after I got back to that hotel. They were like, get this crazy person out of here.
What were you doing? Were you just like tearing up the room? Were you demanding
got
a
into my
recount?
room after we like packed up my stuff and everything, and like it all sort of like settled in. I think I've told this to people. I've told this to people. I walked into my room and I started slamming my face on the counter.
Oh my God.
I fucked with you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I have a therapist. It's
Okay.
fine.
I know. Everybody in the comments questioning.
She's like, is she okay? Yeah, no, I started slamming my face into the counter and then I like fell asleep in the kitchen crying.
Oh my God.
We had a little kitchenette. It was very nice. And then, and the whole next day, I think I laid in bed and then the next day I had to go in and film my confessionals.
Oh my God.
God.
That must have been interesting. You're like,
Oh yeah, I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
oh my
They're
God.
like, "Yeah."
So they really make you do it like right after it just happens. They're like, so you're still bleeding in the ground right now, but can you help us?
Give us a sound point, will ya?
Smile. Yeah, give us a funny soundbite.
Yeah.
That's why now when I watch it, I can always tell who goes home first because they're the one that looks the most upset in their confessional.
During all the ones, it's just
Yeah.
like red
There's like a
eyes.
tooth missing. There's like a black eye.
Somebody looks a little swollen. You're like, "Oh, she goes home tonight, poor thing."
I'm gonna look for that. That's like
Yeah,
that's
no,
like a
that's
cheat
a
code
dead
to see who's going
giveaway.
home.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
Juice
yeah.
Boxx, what were you most upset about? Were you upset about your performance? Were you upset about the whole process? What was?
I mean, I don't know.
What was your
I
trigger?
don't know if I want to keep pressing you on this, given that what you just told us.
But I think it's
No, no,
important
no,
for
you're
people
fine.
to know
I
the
think you're
reality of this show because we see Drag Race as this fun celebration of drag and LGBTQ, but then there's also the real side of it that people can come out damaged. People can suffer from.
Well, think about
reality TV.
Well, think about. I'm sure you've watched like Tyra Banks and Top Model. Have you
Tyra Banks.
have you seen like all the TikTok trends bringing back of literally pointing out the trauma of like what those contestants went through?
Yeah, but I feel like ours was never that bad,
Yeah, I was like,
you know?
nothing beats Tyra's being like, "Will you sell me your baby, or do you want your model
Tyra
career?"
being like, "Oh my God, did your mom die?" All right, the next one.
Yeah.
is gonna
The
be
next
all
scene's in a
mom version.
funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
and
moms in a
we're- I mean,
funeral.
But we know
All mom's at funeral.
Tyra's trash and she'll always be trash. But if you don't mind sharing, what was that kind of emotional reaction to?
Well, I think it was there was a couple things that I think I manifested it first of all on accident like a fucking idiot because I remember I was telling my husband, Mr. Boxx, I had said if there's 3 placements I want. I either want to win, I want 5th place because 5th place is always a fan favorite, or it's go home first because those 3 you remember.
Get noticed.
That's
Yep.
smart.
They get
Right?
You got so much media being the first sent home.
Oh yeah.
Second or third person, they're like, who?
Yeah, well, right? I feel bad. Even though the second person who goes home is Kyne, and I always say that she's the most famous one out of all of us because she has the most TikTok followers, but that's but she I love Kyne so much. But so yeah, I think I manifested it, but I think I was most upset because I had sort of like made it up in my mind like I'm going home first, my career's over, I've ruined everything I've worked so hard for. I also like in like watching it, it's like, oh my God, I'm so quirky and fun. But doing like falling in the mini challenge, getting stuck on my tights, having a massive panic attack. It's just like, the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna look so embarrassing. Like that's a lot. But the way that they put it together, it made me look like quirky and lovable and just like a mental health diva. So I think I was most upset for like those things. And also I spent, and when I say so much money, I spent so much fucking money on this show.
Yeah.
How much do you
That
mind
I
me
was like,
asking?
$17,500.
Yeah, I've heard that's about the
That's like-
average of what queens spent to go on, because it's the gowns that you have to buy, or else you're
Yeah.
paying the designer. It's ridiculous. It's not, I want to see queens walk in with not one suitcase except for their confessional outfit and have to construct everything on their own. Can you imagine that?
Let me
shit?
ask
I'm up
you.
first again.
I'm about to
Goodbye.
ask you. I was like, do you know how to sew?
I learned how to sew. And if I'm being honest, and I've said this before, I did learn how to sew before I went there, and I did have patterns, but everything's so rushed day one. We couldn't fully unpack. I couldn't find my patterns. All of our suitcases were in this super, super dark room. It sounds like I'm making excuses. I'm not.
No, but this is what you have. These are the obstacles that the fans just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a lot of things that are stopping you. And also, we're on hard ice. You're not allowed to talk,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't have anybody there where I could be like, hey, bestie, can you help me put together my fucking sewing machine? Because I
Right.
forgot how to do this.
Wait, you're not allowed to talk to each other?
No, they cut the cameras, so it's hard ice. Hard ice.
Oh,
I'm talking.
that's weird.
If somebody says hard ice to me, I get triggered. Like I start to sweat.
Do you want to drink with some hard ice?
Hard ice. I'm like, "Ugh."
No, but it is very isolating. We think it's all, and then after they're done filming, you go back to your room and you can't talk, you can't email, you can't watch. I mean, you literally are shut off. It has to be, and then
They unplugged our TVs.
yeah,
Wait, what? What?
Yeah,
Why?
they don't let you watch-
So you can't know what's happening in the world?
Yeah, no TVs. You have
That's
to
creepy.
100%.
And you can't text your friend.
Am I
It's
breaking my NDA? Whatever.
no. This
But-
is.
But so wait, what do you
public
what are
knowledge.
you gonna do for fun then when you go back to your room to like relax? That's it.
I had a flashlight and I jerked off so much.
I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people use the hotel gym or the hotel pool.
Oh, I would be there.
Yeah, I actually came back
in better
bigger.
shape.
Yeah.
in better shape
'Cause
because
there's nothing
I
else to
was
do.
working out and
It's like
jerking off
jail.
so much and only eating broccoli and chicken because I didn't like any of the food, so I would make them send me rotisserie chickens and broccoli that I would steam. And I got back and I started sneaking to my gym because I was a CrossFit gym and they're all straight.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what the fuck Drag Race was,
Yeah.
so I just
Yeah.
kept going. And I remember I showed up at my gym and all of the people that I work with were like, "Hey, you look really good. You look really beefy." And I was just like, "Oh my god, damn."
you have a lot of fans, by the way, that thirst for you as a boy.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
My own curating and my own doing.
Okay, that's I can tell that because I was like, I've seen your Instagram, I've seen like your pictures. I was like, okay, you're not trying to hide behind this. You're embracing being a thirst trap.
Tell me. I need the attention.
No, it
I'm not
really
gonna hide behind
it's a huge part of your brand. And in fact, I even texted you when I was doing research.
I
And
know
I was like,
you're like woof.
yeah, I was like, oh, and then I was
Because he asked me, he's like, is he gonna be in boy or girl? I was like, he's gonna be in boy mode. And you're like, woof.
yeah, but there's this whole media stress about, wow, he looks great as a boy. Like the expectation is a drag queen can't look masculine, can't look attractive, cannot be sexualized as a boy. And there's this kind of things happening with Cameron.
Michaels.
Yeah, Cameron Michaels. He posts all of his muscle, whatever, and it's like, wow. And there's this stress, and I know some of the queens hate to be sexualized as a boy, saying, why is the assumption that we're all hideous hags?
I don't think I know a single drag queen that hates to be sexualized.
I've talked
Yeah,
to
I was
humans,
like, every single one of my drag friends is just like, please God, sexualize me.
Yeah.
Now, was that kind of a weird shift with your relationship? Because I'm sure your DMs blew up with dick pics and whatnot. Did that put any strain? No.
Are you guys open?
No, that's not really anything that we've ever really talked about, but he just doesn't care. He just
It's just somebody
Like,
complimenting you.
yeah, he's like, it's a compliment, I don't give a fuck. He's just like, what Mr. Boxx says is there's plenty of fish in the sea, but I'm the ocean and I ate all the fish.
Hey, if
I'm
they're
like-
gold, like those cracker goldfish, I'm all about it. So, what kind of porn were you watching most?
Well, I didn't have any, so I
was
had
on
a
your brain?
smut book called Danny Boy, and I would
I'm gonna write
read
this
Danny
down.
Boy and jerk off into my fleshlight.
This just sounds like old timey, but
Yeah,
kind of
it's kinda
incredible.
hot.
Yeah.
No, I was just like, because I forgot to bring the USB of porn. I just brought the USB of movies. And my portable DVD player that I had to bring, which is from like 1984.
You didn't have any movies that were just really sexy enough to jerk off to? Not
No, I mean, I could probably watch like Buffy and just like stare into Spike's eyes.
Yeah.
but-
just pause it.
Yeah, no, my friend literally when I was leaving, he's like, "This is for you," and it was like this book, like this old school book called Danny Boy, and he's like, "It's smut," and it was a joke, and I was like, I called him after, and I went, "Girl, it wasn't bad."
That's funny.
You
That
sa-
is
he's like, you
funny.
saved my life here.
Like it kind of worked, and it's like you really have to read it, and it like passed the time. So I was like, "This isn't bad.
Was the hotel they put you in nice?
It was fine."
What? All right,
It was season one money, bitch.
let me ask you, was it better than the room you're currently in right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The room I'm in right now is nice. Like
It's
I'm not
cute.
saying anything bad.
Yeah, no.
I'm on the top floor. I've got a beautiful view of the water. But this was like a suite. It was like a house. Like it was
Okay.
like a
Because you have nowhere else to
kitchenette, a
go. You
living
can't even
room.
walk out across the street, and they monitor whether you.
Oh, I can leave my room.
Yeah.
Like a locked in bitch.
Now, what would you have if you were to go back and relive the whole process? What would you have done differently? How would you have changed your strategy?
Nothing. I'm an icon.
Why change perfection?
Why? I had a beautiful episode. I had a wonderful edit. I looked great. Even with that awful lighting, making you look like a Neanderthal on that main stage. But yeah, I had so many good moments. I mean, it would have been nice to have lasted longer and shown all the outfits because I truly was the fashion of season 1 if I would have come, because some of my girls came with rickety crickety runways and I came with money. And I came with like beautiful, beautiful things, and everything was Canadian. Every last piece, from my nails to my shoes to the strands of hair on my head, everything I wore was 100% Canadian, and that's why it was so expensive.
Yeah.
So I would have shown a lot more, and I would have made a little bit more memorable runways. But I made a memorable episode, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you sure did. I mean, you are one of the personalities that emerged from that first season. That's like you didn't have to film all those weeks. You're like, I got it. I know what I'm doing. Now, what was
really funny? It was so cold. Like it was like ice cold. We were filming during a polar vortex, and it was just like you could see our breath. Sometimes they would ask us to like re-record a scene because you could see like our
Yeah.
fog from our mouth. And I remember one day Tainomi I'm sorry, I don't remember. Somebody else told me this because I wasn't there. But Tainomi had looked over, and it was one of the coldest days, and she looked into someone's eyes and said, "Juice Boxx is so warm right now."
I mean, I feel like it being freezing though probably is better than it being hot because no.
Your face is not melting off.
Because stage lights when it's hot, like, especially out here in LA, when we have to film and you're not allowed to have air conditioning turned on because of sound, I would much rather be freezing.
Because your like eyelash would be coming off, your makeup would
Yes.
be dripping. Trust.
No,
Trust.
sweat away, bitch. I would much rather have been hot because the whole reason I had my panic attack was because I was cold.
Really?
I was cold, and I didn't eat because I was in a fucking bikini and I wanted to look so svelte like an idiot. But I was hungry. I was ice cold, and I was in so much pain. And so my anxieties are rooted in death and dying. So if I feel like I'm gonna die, I go into and have a panic attack. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna faint right now because I'm so hungry and I'm so cold. I'm gonna die. This is where I go.
Jesus
I mean, but
Christ.
that's how you would have become worldwide famous if you had died on the first
Oh my
episode.
God, Teddy
Can you
Bear.
imagine
My
if
God.
I died episode 1.
I mean,
iconic.
Nobody else could one up you.
No,
Well, you
the
can't wa-
podcast wouldn't have happened. But I mean, I'm the girl that died episode 1.
We could have been talking about you though. Still,
You gotta be like,
Yeah.
in her memory.
Rest in peace. This would be called the Juice Boxx Gurrrl.
Yeah.
drinking a juice box in your honor,
Oh.
tipping to the heavens or to the hell.
But let's talk about this evolution of Drag Race. You know, you have watched, having watched it for so many seasons and now being part of it. You know, there is talk about how expensive it is, and drag was supposed to be the art that was available to everybody, inclusive of everybody, no matter what kind of station you came from, no matter what your income was. If you had the skill and the talent, girl, you deserve to be on stage. We know some drag queens are very crafty with using products that cost $1 because they don't have the money, especially starting out with drag. Drag queens don't have any money, so to not be able to wear the same outfit over and over again can be financially crippling. And now we have this show that was built on being so inclusive and open, but now you literally have to come in spending thousands of dollars just to earn a place on the show that's supposed to be a celebration of queer people from all over. Has it become elitist on its own merit? Has Drag Race?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, maybe there's something to be said, like, with some nuance with that. But I think when it comes to my situation, like, there's a lot of people I know that spend a lot less on Drag Race. But with my situation, I see drag as an industry. And I see the Canadian industry as something that I really love and something that I really wanted to support and showcase. So I spent so much money because there was so many people within my like family of like and my network of people that I wanted to be on that platform with me. I didn't want this to be just about me. I wanted it to be about the people that have supported me throughout this journey. So the person who did my hair was Wig Zaddy, and Wig Zaddy is a designer, a wig designer from Toronto who started his career with me. I exclusively wear his wigs.
Yes.
And he does all my hair. So he did every last piece of hair for me for the whole show.
Wow.
My designers were designers that I've worked with almost my whole drag career, and some that I just really appreciated that I've always wanted to work with. The nail people I worked with are people that I've always worked with. Like it was something like that. So I think that's what it happened with me, and that's why I spend so much money. But there is so many people who are so much more crafty, who can go in this and they can make everything themselves. I know a lot of girls who sat in their basement and spent 3 weeks just making things, and they made their entire package themselves for a third of what I spent. And while it's still expensive, you don't have to spend that much if you want to be on the show, if you have the means to be able to do it. I also just don't. I have the money.
Now, spill some tea on the reality of the show. Do they send you, like, here's the episode list and here's the theme for each runway? I mean, you have to have some idea going in because some of those outfits are like, how would they have known how
trying
to
get me
it?
never on All Stars ever again?
Well, no, I mean, a lot of it has been...
I think, I mean, there's sort of like the general knowledge of what you guys know. Like we have a vague idea of what happens before we go on. Like they give us a vague sort of thing of what we have to do. But obviously once we get there, things change. And if we don't know the exact name of things, we just have an idea so it will fit properly in the edit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to ask you about one of your Instagram stories recently. You've had some issues with a director on set.
Oh, fuck that guy.
So what? Because like
spill the tea. I
So
don't know what you're talking
and let the viewers know this is also your not drag job. This is
yeah. So I used to work in makeup. So makeup used to be my full-time job. I worked at Mac. I worked in film doing special effects and all that. And because of the lockdowns in Ontario and because I haven't been able to work, I started working in makeup again because I was like, I would love to eat and pay my bills. That's such a weird, quirky thing, but we're gonna do it. So I decided to take a gig with a friend of mine, a Wig Zaddy, who also sometimes works in film. He asked me if I wanted to work a gig with him and be the makeup, and he was gonna be key hair. So I was like, sure, I'll do it, whatever. And I basically worked this gig with this. I can't say, I didn't sign an NDA, but just to be nice, I won't say who it was or what production it was, but no, I'm not going to be shady on it. But
don't say it. No,
I was going to be rude, but I won't say it. But he wanted something done, and we hadn't talked about it. We hadn't agreed on it. And I didn't really have anything to make it. So I had basically said like, I can't do that, but I can make it work because I'm fucking iconic. So so I said I can make it work, and then the key Ashley went over, or Wig Zaddy went over to ask him some specifics just so I can make sure it was done correctly, and he got really angry and then screamed about how hair and makeup was ruining his day in front of the cast, the crew, the production, and everyone. So I was just like, what did I say? I walked up to production and I said, if your Steven Spielberg wannabe fucking director speaks to me like that one more time, I will leave. I can sit in my basement with a wig on and make triple the amount of the pennies that you are paying me. You are lucky to have me here. I will leave. And then I left the room and I cried in my makeup chair.
Well, and I remember you had an Instagram poll. You asked people, should I fucking leave?
And those shady bitches told me to. I was like, I have bills.
I told you to leave too.
But it's a fine line. It's like, who's the bigger person? Do you, be the professional and do your job, or what? At what point does it become abuse? And it's like, you don't need that. Like you said, you're iconic. Like, did you really need to put up with that experience? But it's a very fine line.
He apologized. It was the worst apology I've ever heard in my life. And
I saw your Instagram story.
Was it like, I'm sorry that you felt that way? And
it was
I'm
a David
and I'm
Chappelle
sorry.
apology.
No, it was very like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have acted that way. It was very like a rehearsed. It was 6 hours later, by the way. But it was very like a rehearsed apology. And then I proceeded to eviscerate him. Just ripped him to shreds. I said, are you done? Okay, cool. Sit down. And I told him he should be embarrassed. it was the worst experience I've ever had in my 10 years working in the industry. I was just like, I never want to look at your face ever again.
Have you worked with him
I want
again?
you.
Have you worked with him again?
No. I would
And now
never.
they're in a throuple. No. But here's the thing.
He's Mr. Boxx.
Yeah.
But even though you went off on him, you gave him constructive criticism, so to speak. No,
Maybe
because you spoke your mind. I guarantee you he's never going to act that way again, or if he does, this conversation that you've had with him is going to come first to your mind. And so...
Oh, I hope my conversation was his 13th reason. That's how much I hated him.
Oh my God, girl.
God, I was like, get out of my life. I hate you.
But I think we should call each other more in the entertainment industry because we're telling everybody else behind the scenes about the issues. It's like, no, we need to be a grown-up and be like, I have this problem with the way you acted, and here's why, blah, 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 blah. We need to have more of those conversations rather than just...
Well, I mean, it's because
Talking shit.
it's because a lot of people have this whole thing of they're like, it's professional to just let it slide. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
What you do is you just literally tell somebody, nobody is above. Like my personal belief, nobody is above anyone else. This applies for every.
No matter what title you have,
director, assistant, everything.
Yep.
You have to treat everybody as if it's a team. We're all doing this
because it is.
Because when you start to try and do this hierarchy thing, it just falls apart because anybody can crumble to pieces easily by being like, I'm going to put you in your place. You are not the be all.
And you'll notice, like,
no, you go.
No, you'll notice like the successful professionals that we've worked with, or like, you joked about Steven Spielberg. These people work professionally, and you don't hear stories like that at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, that's a lot of that. Is that me?
No.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I saw a little white thing on my face. I was like, what did I do?
The white thing on
I think
your
that
face.
comes too from drag. Is I learned to stand up for myself. I learned to have that confidence, and I learned to be like, you can't talk to me like that. Like I'm gonna stand up for myself. I stand up for myself now in every aspect of my life and everything that I do, because if Juice is going to stand up for herself and Juice is going to say, hey, you motherfucking cunt, don't talk to me like that, then why can't I?
Did you ever have to do, like, because you've been doing makeup for a while, did you ever have to work at like a makeup counter growing up?
Yeah, I worked at MAC for 5 years.
Now, were you brave enough to stand up to terrible customers?
I can imagine this whole show just in that.
Yorkville, so I worked with very fancy rich ladies.
They probably loved you though.
They liked me. And if they were mean, I would just leave.
Literally, like, half their face is done. You just be like, clock out.
Actually, some of our most difficult clients, like, they would come to me. So, like, I never had any problems with anybody because they were just like, because I was the drag queen and I did the, like, big, like, oh, please put my lips on, like the huge lips and the big wing outliners. Yes. So I never really had any problems. And if anyone was a cunt, I literally was just like, I don't get paid enough, bestie. I'm out.
So they knew to be quiet because they were like, I really want his work, so I know I need to shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. I remember I had one woman who was just like completely like, at one point I told her, I was like, listen, babe, I think this is insecurity jumping out. I don't think it's a you and me problem. I think it's a you. I think we need to work through these issues because you're beautiful and I'm just making that better, but it's not a magic wand. We're just doing what we can.
Oh.
Speaking of making ugly things pretty, did you see the Snatch Game on the main Drag Race?
That was so bad.
So everybody was afraid to comment about how awful it was. I mean, people that have been on the show. No, people that have been on the show because they don't want to be ostracized. But when RuPaul himself says, what happened? That was shit. Then all of us are like, okay, we can talk about it shit. What do you think happened in that instance? You being in that environment, and you said that you would have done Jennifer Coolidge, right?
I would.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, I think it's a cursed Snatch Game though, because me and Soju was supposed to do Jennifer Coolidge. I remember she mentioned that, and we both worked out first, and then the other person who did Jennifer Coolidge didn't do well. So I think it's a cursed Snatch Game. So no one picked Jennifer Coolidge.
It seems like she would be so easy to do.
There are certain ones that are just cursed ones where you're like, just don't do that.
Yeah,
Beyonce.
Yeah. But even Jennifer Coolidge, like, we all think how easy it would be, but I mean, you have to make it funny. You can't just do her hot dog line over and over again.
Yeah, you can't just say like, oh, we both love soup.
Yeah.
I probably would have just done that. Thank God.
But I think your sounds like you'd have made it work. But what do you think happened? What do you think went wrong on this season's Snatch Game? I mean, it was awful.
I saw that Shea Coulee had tweeted something, and it was right. Like, celebrity impersonation is a very precise skill, right? And the people that usually do well on Snatch Game have that very, very precise skill in celebrity impersonation, but also improv.
Yes.
You know, and I think that this season, it may just not be a group of girls that really have that sort of talent. I think this group of girls is very talented, like lip syncing and dance wise, which I love because I love a show. But they may just not be very good with the improv and with the celebrity impersonation. And I think that's fair. It doesn't make a good queen. I can't really impersonate anybody that well, but my God, does my ass look good, you know?
But a queen should be able to carry themselves, like MC a show.
Well, so I also heard apparently they usually for Snatch Game actually have a live audience, and this one did not get to have a live audience.
We know that energy
and
does
that
do
that
a lot.
energy, where especially if you were like
100%.
trying to figure out is what I'm saying funny, you can pick up from the audience of like, okay, I'm getting reaction, keep going this direction. If there's nobody there, and it's just awkward, quiet, waiting for RuPaul to just laugh, you can get very reserved real quick.
Plus, let's be honest, Raven was not the kindest of contestants. I mean, she was like rolling her eyes. She was making faces. Like, I mean, that's pretty cold, too.
I mean, yeah, but that's what she was there to do.
I know, but on top of that, and then having like one of the top queens like doing that to you.
Well, also, you don't know, again, editing. You don't even, in her defense, they may have not even been there when she filmed that part.
I'm going to message to see if there's actually a live audience because I wasn't there. Who should I ask? I'll ask Alona.
Just text Rue.
Alona, was there a live audience for your Snatch Game? There, she'll tell me.
She'll break the NDA.
Yeah.
Oh, Alona? My God. Alona's like, can I do an expose? Okay.
I do love the queens too, like because there's certain queens who are so precise about not breaking the NDA, not letting anybody know they're on Drag Race. Other queens instantly, they're like, I can't say anything, but I'm gonna be gone for this many weeks.
It's like
wink.
You know.
See what Lemon wrote when she got back from International?
No, what?
Hey guys, sorry, I totally took a nap. I just woke up.
See, that's hot. See, that's smart.
Cute, yeah.
That's humor. Juice Boxx, what is your message to your fans? What do you want your fans to know the most about you?
The most
Mm-hmm.
out of my fans?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love them. I tell them a lot. Especially if they're part of my Twitch community, if they're with me on Twitch every week, I just tell them how much I appreciate and I love them because do you know what Twitch is?
Of course,
Yeah, it's
Well, I do. Do you?
yeah. I mean, I know about it, and I interviewed Fifi O'Hara. Oh, you can't. Jeremy. Sorry, don't call her Fifi. And he's very prolific on Twitch, and it has become this kind of voice to the gaming community. So I know very well
It's
that
not
it's
even in gaming though. I think a lot of people see Twitch as a gaming platform, but I use it as I do game on it a lot, but I use it as a way to connect with my fans and a live streaming platform. If I can do a just chatting stream for 4 hours and just literally talk to my fans and pull tarot cards, I am the happiest little girl in the world. So I always tell them like every couple months, I'll just be like, I'll tell them they really saved me when I felt like I was in this sort of space that I felt really irrelevant. I felt really forgotten about, and I felt really like I was falling off because after Drag Race, like Drag Race feels like the top, and then you're like, you get home and you're like in a global pandemic, and then you're not working a lot, and you're like, oh, what else is there?
Yeah.
So I feel like I found my niche and I found a community, and I also sort of found this idea, and I forget who said it to me or where I found it, but it was basically like, if you have 1,000 people who are absolutely obsessed with you, pay attention to them. Those are the ones you really want to pay attention to. So the people who are in my Twitch community and the people who are supporting me in that way, I really give them the most love and the most attention and the most sort of like praise, because they're the ones who are supporting me so directly, because they pay for subscriptions, they pay for Polaroids, they come and support me, even if they're just sitting watching me for like 3 hours talk about absolutely nothing playing Pokemon. Right. So they're the ones that really kind of like held me up when I was just like, nobody gives a fuck. Then there's the people who like come to my shows, the people who just casually enjoy me, like those kinds of fans who I also love. But the ones who are just like really, really there for me are just like, I love you.
Aww.
Oh, so sweet.
That's a cute little note to end on.
Yeah. Oh, so cute. He's so cute. I just want to pinch your cheeks. Well, if you're in LA next week, I'm going to see where you're performing, and I'm going to come check you out. I bet you it's at Mickey's. Yeah.
I hope. I'll sit on your lap. Just don't give me COVID.
Girl, if you sit on my lap, I'm going to get you pregnant. A little COVID baby. How cute.
Although Alona just responded, there was no live audience. It was a crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juice Boxx, do you mind telling everybody where you want them to find you and follow you?
If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go to Juice Boxx Official. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Juice Boxx TikToky. If you want to watch me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/JuiceBoxx Twitch. And if you want to see me talk shit and post thirst traps, go follow me on Twitter at Juice Boxx Queen. And if you want to watch me jerk off, I am going to be jerking off on Cam 4 every Thursday. I'm kidding. I'm not actually.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Did you see the look I just gave
I was
you?
like, we have an
got all
exclusive.
excited. I'm like, yes, Cam 4, you go, girl.
No. I was trying to make a joke and then I just let it die.
Well, damn. But certainly follow Juice Boxx and all of her antics. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us.
Yeah, thank you for doing
Thanks
this
for having me.
And-
Appreciate it.
and taking the time on your vacation.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Tell your husband hello, and we'll see you in LA.
I will. Bye.
Bye, girl. Teddy, I'm gonna drag you out of your bear cave, and if Juice is performing, we have to go.
I mean, I don't live far from there, so yeah.
We're going. Yeah. Teddy, tell everybody where you want them to find you and follow you.
You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Teddy Bear Gurrrl and on Twitter at the XXX Teddy Bear.
And I'm Alexander. You can find me on Instagram at AlexanderIsOnAir, and continue to send your questions and comments. We do read them all. Email us at bearwithusgirl, and that's 3 R's at gmail.com. Show us some love. We are growing this podcast. Share, subscribe, comment. And until next time, rawr!
Bye.
That has been another episode of Bear With Us Girl, presented by Bear World Magazine and Cybersocket.com.
Please take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, rate, all the love and support you can give, guys.
Questions, comments, and suggestions? Email us at bearwithusgirl, 3 R's, at gmail.com.
Until next time, embrace the fur.
Grrrr.